Hi friends, it's Mari and I'm back today with another project for the JustNick digital cut file design team. I'm going to be using these three cut files today, the spider webs, Halloween titles, and Halloween 2 cut files. I'm starting off here with a piece of basil smooth marshmallow cardstock. This has already had some clear gesso applied to it. It's had some time to dry. And now what I'm doing is I'm applying some magicals to my paper here to provide a little bit of mixed media for my layout. I wanted to put these orange pigments in kind of a square to create a square border where my pattern paper is going to sit. And what I'm doing here is I just added a little bit of water to my paper, and then I added the magical powders in. I'm using creamsicle, orange creamsicle, and canna lily burnt orange. And I kept the drying process in for you here just so that you could see how the drying process is part of what can make these magicals look really cool. So if you just allow the magicals to move around a little bit and dry them as they're moving, that's where you get that really cool variation in color. And I really like how that looks. So I'm starting off with the orange creamsicle and letting that move around a little bit, adding some water, and then I drop in a little bit of that canna lily burnt orange, which is kind of more of that brown orange, and it just kind of blends over top of that creamsicle. I really love the effect that this creates. And like I said, I ended up going around in a square, kind of a perimeter, because I had cut a piece of pattern paper already for the area where my photos are going to go, and I had an idea of how big that perimeter for that square needed to be. So you can just see me drying this, dabbing up some of the excess with a baby wipe, and continuing here until I get that square created. And the really neat thing about the magicals is they have a little bit of, if you're using ones that aren't flat, if you're using the glimmery ones, you do get a little bit of a shine. So the orange creamsicle one that I'm using here is a flat magical. It doesn't have the shimmer. And then the canna lily burnt orange does have some of that shimmer. Now I'm just taking a smaller brush and I'm just doing some really fine splatters here with the orange tones. And once I get that square all done with the orange, there's going to be a little bit of a transition here in the whole square is going to be finished. And I just repeat the same process on the top and bottom to create the square. I decided that I wanted to add in a little bit of purple on this layout as well. And it's obviously, this is a Halloween layout, and I wanted to just have some purples and oranges. So now I'm going in with some Prima Donna purple. And this is a really pretty glimmery, shiny purple. And this is just going to react with what's already on my paper. And so some of it spreads a little bit, even though this is mostly dry, the oranges are mostly dry. It does react a little bit with the orange that's there. Some of the droplets get a little bit larger as they land, and so on and so forth. And I'm just adding some little splatters here and there to create that little bit of purple on my project. I didn't want too much, but just a tiny little bit. So I'm just going to continue to add that until I'm happy with the amount of purple that I have on the layout. I just have a little bit of overspray, so I'm just picking that up. Now I wanted to take and do a little bit of stamping on my project here. So I'm just taking some VersaFine Clair ink, and this is a brown tone that I'm using here, and I'm going to use a Tim Holtz stamp that is just really quite distressed looking. I'm just going to do some second generation stamping, so that means that I stamped off once onto that scratch piece of paper and then stamped again onto my project second and third time to create just a really faded stamped image. Now you can see the pattern paper I'm using here. I've got a larger rectangle, and then I have a little torn piece of pattern paper that has pumpkins on it. These papers are papers from my stash. Some of them are newer. The Simple Stories Vintage Halloween that I'm using here is actually just some stuff that I just bought, but the older Cartabella stuff is from All Hallows Eve, and that is actually from 2012, so it's really old. I'm also using a little bit of Tim Holtz metallic cardstock here for my photo mat. And there's that really cool spiderwebs cut file. I actually cut it so that I had both of those border pieces, but I'm only going to end up using one. Now, these are 3 photos that are printed at 2.5 by 2.5 in black and white. These are just some silly Snapchat filter photos that I took of myself because I have actually scrapbooked all of my kids' Halloween photos. You know, my kids are 25 and 27 years old. Those photos have long since been scrapped. And so I just did these silly little snaps today. And my documenting is just about like how much I love Halloween. I always have. And I do enjoy it a lot. So you can see I added one of those spider webs up to the top and I trimmed off the excess around the edge of the paper. And now I'm just looking at the embellishments and from some of the kits that I have or from some of the collections I have, trying to decide what I wanted to use to embellish the rest of my layout. I thought I might use that little Halloween banner on my layout here today somewhere, but I decided not to. And I put that back on the Simple Stories Vintage Halloween sticker sheet. And I'm going to use some of the other little bits and pieces from the cut files as well to embellish. So you can see those little purple metallic spiders are from one of the cut files. I really love that. I think that's so cute. Those are actually from the Halloween 2 cut file. And I did cut them from that same purple metallic paper. And here you can see I'm going to end up deciding to put another one of the spider webs at the bottom and then leave a spot for my journaling. So I'm going to take that second spider web border off. I'm going to add another large spider web cut file to the bottom. Then I'm going to take that banner off that's on there right now, and that will be an area for my journaling. Now, the rest of this is just going to be a bunch of fun that I have with all of the different embellishing. And part of that is going to be to use the cut file Halloween title or Halloween titles for my layout here today. So I'm going to just kind of go through some of the sticker sheets I have and so on and pick out some things that I want to finish up with. So the title Halloween that I'm laying out there is from the Halloween titles, like I said, cut from black cardstock, and I'm going to use that as part of my title. And then I'm also going to add some white foam alphas, thickers from my stash as another part of the title here that you'll see here in a minute. So I'm going to just kind of arrange these in a wonky fashion. I'm not going to line them up perfectly. And now there's going to just be a little bit of a transition and you'll be able to see here where I have that all stuck down. So I just used a little bit of liquid adhesive. You can see there on the left side of my layout, there's a bit of a black strip there. That's actually a sticker from the Simple Stories Vintage Halloween collection. And now I'm just going to do some layering. So in that on the left-hand edge of the photo mat, I'm going to add some stickers there. I'm going to use some foam adhesive to pop some of those up. And I'm going to add one of those purple spiders to each one of the spider webs that I have on the layout. And I just love how they are so pretty with that purple metallic paper. And I've popped each of those spiders up on a little bit of foam adhesive just to give them a little bit of dimension on the layout as well. And now I'm just about finished really. I am going to add some journaling strips down to that little area below the photos and a couple of other little stickers here and there. There's some really cute pumpkin stickers that have glasses on them, some little black cats and so on. And those are all part of the Vintage Halloween cardstock sticker sheets that I have. I also had the 12 by 12 sticker sheet to work with. So that was lots of fun just to kind of pick and choose some things that I wanted to use on this layout for embellishments. I love these Halloween cut files from the JustNick shop. There are tons of Halloween themed cut files that you can choose from that Nicole has designed. I have a companion blog post for this layout today where I have more of the details and links to the different cut files. I am going to leave a link to the cut file shop down below and also to my blog post. A really cool way of filtering and checking out all of the different cut files in the shop is you can actually list the cut files by theme, or you can list them in the shop from newest to oldest. There's lots of different ways to filter them to check out all the different kinds of cut files that you can buy over on the JustNick shop. Just showing you up close all the different things that I did on this layout And that is going to be about it. And I'm just showing you here the journaling. We are actually going to be in Disney World for Halloween this year, so we're pretty excited about that. So when you're watching this video, that's what's going to be happening, and we're pretty pumped. So thanks so much for stopping by today, guys. Stay tuned. There are going to be some still shots, and that will show you all of the close-up details. Have an amazing day and have an amazing Halloween. Bye, guys.